Howdy. I know what y'all came here for, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. The end of this video is going to go over a rationale for me changing something about this series and the YouTube channel itself. So if you want to hear what that's about, watch till the end. The bulk of this video is going to consist of new developmental updates for Atlas by way of the official Discord server. We're starting all the way back in January of this year, and trust me, there is a lot to cover. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna opt to kick us off with something pretty interesting here.
For his neutral special, he wields a gun.
So yeah, as I'm sure you can tell, there's kind of a lot you can say about a new weapon being added to Atlas. Before we talk about any of that, I just want to establish right here that we're not going in any specific order necessarily of when these teasers were released. Instead, it's just going to be what I find interesting, and that means some things are going to get a lot of information told about them, and some won't, so sorry in advance, I guess. So yeah, anyways, new Atlas weapon. For one, it makes a really memeable unsheathed noise, which is great. And I only just noticed the little eye squinty that a character does whenever they unsheathe the weapon, which is similarly very funny to me. But it seems to me that this confirms a couple of things about Atlas whenever it comes to the more developmental side of the weapons. I had many people in my previous video saying that we're not going to get any new weapons to speak of, which is kinda weird, considering this teaser laughs in the face of that immediately. And I'm not going to say that none of y'all were wrong, I just think how we understand the new weapon types is going to be probably a little bit different than you were expecting. On the one hand, guns are being regarded as a skin or alternative design to bows. I'll have more to say on this later, but for now, I guess we know what weapon a boom bore is supposed to be able to craft into now, which, yeah, I guess that tracks here. What's more, I'm willing to bet what we're not going to see out of Atlas are new weapon types. Instead, I would like to vouch for the concept of subtypes for Atlas. Consider weapons like hammers and greatswords both being considered heavy weapons. And while at the current moment they look visually identical, let me also just bring up this GIF. Heavy weapons are now confirmed to have two subtypes associated with them. By which I mean hammers still have their slam and jumping spin attack, but greatswords now have a charged spin and then also a jumping spin attack. These alternative animations are specifically being shown with the scythe weapons, so I think it's safe to say that these new attacks are going to be associated with a bunch of heavy weapons, and this entire thing sort of sets an interesting precedent for me. We're gonna go into hardcore speculation territory for a second, but I see no reason for greatswords to not have a slam still depending on the greatsword itself. This also leaves the door open for other types of weapons to get other animations as well. In my last video I brought up katanas, which if that's the case, maybe the charge attack is some sort of draw strike that has like parry frames or something. You could do other things as well, such as a rapier having some sort of multi-stab move or something of that sort. I'm also willing to bet that guns have a different charge attack as opposed to bows. And while that isn't confirmed either, I think if nothing else it's a fair guess to have. Even if absolutely nothing else, it leaves the door open for a ton of design differences regarding the weapons in Atlas. Kisef now has the ability to make just about anything fit with any weapon now, and as long as it visually matches what the weapon is supposed to do, at like a cursory glance or whatever, then I'm willing to bet we can see all kinds of stuff coming out of this game here in the near future. Now, I will admit, there's probably a fair few of you who have tuned out already. But given that this is Atlas, I know how to get your attention again. Thick smug rat, bottom text. How was that? Did that work? Y'all paying attention now? Okay, anyways, hey look, advanced classes. We now have hard confirmation of what the third skill list looks like. This teaser here shows a new mechanic for a new subclass that's given to the Mystic, the Bishop. Given what we can glean from this teaser, the Bishop seems to be some sort of support-oriented mage. Swiftly following this new skill, there's also some Mage's skills, which is also a new class that we don't have access to yet. Erring on the side of conjecture, it seems to me that any one main class in Atlas gets the ability to pick between two or possibly more advanced classes, further defining your build and your playstyle. As it currently stands, we don't have any real confirmations of what the other advanced classes look like for, say, Fighter or Bandit, but I don't think it's crazy to assume that Fighter might get something like a defense-oriented sword and shield user, and then also a much more attack-oriented two-handed fighter class. Maybe Bandit has something to do with ranged attacks, and then another option for, like, stealth or something? As always, only time will tell for what this actually ends up being, but as of now, at least with the on-paper idea, I'm a fan of it. I now very quickly want to take this time to amend some comments in the last Atlas video I made. One thing I omitted from that discussion was obviously the want to have more areas in Atlas. To keep a long story short, there was a lot of people saying, oh, well, what should be the real focus of the game is implementing new areas and some such. And the real reason I didn't mention that in the video is because I kinda thought it was a given. I'm not knocking anybody or calling anybody out, I promise. I just thought that was relatively obvious, but I do understand the expressed want of having more to play. To address the other, I don't know, 50% of people, yes, I hear you. The imp race is in fact supposed to be an aquatic race. As I'm sure you can gather, I didn't make any imps before making this new video, and especially not during that video's creation. So as a result, that information was missed because, you know, I assume the word imp means more like a demonic creature and not something aquatic. I profusely apologize if I happen to make any imp mains mad, because that was not my intention. It's just, I don't know. Imp means demon to me and not fish, and I think I could still do with a fish race if it were up to me. She's right behind me, isn't she? Swiftly moving on to the news again. As is to be expected, we have new skills and changes to existing skills. For the new stuff, we have the skill called Flux Claw, a mage-specific skill that is sort of a blend between short range and mid-range. Once again, gives more individual player variety and all that, so, you know, that's pretty cool. And similarly, Nova is getting a visual clarity update. Upgrading the Nova skill will simply result in more damage as opposed to a larger AoE size. Fighters are also getting a new skill called Shockwave. Relatively simple ground creeping attack that acts as a projectile. And I wouldn't be opposed if this was the fighter's only projectile skill aside from the weapon throw skill. If Stomp is now being used in the air, it will send you straight back down to the ground, possibly useful for platforming or positioning. In slightly unfortunate news, Execute is now going to be a fighter-specific skill that will no longer work on bosses. The replacement skill scroll for this is going to be a spell called Wind Slash, of which we don't have any teasers for yet. On a related note, the weapon mastery skills are going to be lumped into their main damaging stats. Which is to say, as opposed to heavy weapon mastery and sword and shield mastery, instead they will both be regarded as strength mastery. This also applies to bows and guns, and also wands and bells. This monolithic wall of text also has to do with the changes going forward with skills in general. You can pause to read it if you want to, but I'm going to do my best to summarize what's going on here. Instead of having to unlock skills based on a level system, as well as upgrading those skills using a skill point system, skills will now be solely determined by which attack stat they're based off of. Say you're using Flux Bolt, for example, and instead of spending skill points to bring it up to level 10, now you just get Flux Bolt the one time, and it's directly scaling off of your mind stat. This is how all the skills are going to work going forward, and the reason for this is to sort of streamline the development of skills going forward. It's going to be much easier to do a hybrid mage-fighter sort of build, because you don't have to worry about spending too many skills in one skill point that you don't really like using. Instead, they're just based off of character stats, and on paper, again, I think this is a pretty good change. On the terminology side of things, skills are being broken up into passive skills and action skills. And what skills are going into those categories is pretty self-explanatory, I think. And one more thing before we stop talking about skills. The skills you currently have equipped can be swapped by switching your weapon. This is done by hitting Q on your keyboard, and it allows you to do certain things such as equipping two of the same type of weapon in order to get more skills out of your skill book. Alternatively, if you just wanted to use a different weapon, then all the power to you. And hey, just real talk for a second. You know what's a weirdly annoying thing about doing this video series? Trying to find new places to get background footage for. Sometimes I'm forced to reuse footage, like now for instance. This teaser didn't have any description to speak of, but I can confirm it's a new area. The Trial of the Stars. We have exactly zero information to go off of right now, but from just looking at it, this appears to be some sort of platforming challenge. Given the sheer scale of these screenshots and this GIF, it's sort of giving me like Bennett Foddy vibes a little bit, so I guess, I don't know, hopefully it's optional. Or who knows, maybe there's some sort of checkpoint implementation, something or other. In other area-related news, the entire beginning biome is getting a big facelift. I don't really know if there's anything else I can add here. I'm a fan of the design, I'm a fan of the changes. It all looks prettier, we even have rain in the beginning area now, so that's cool. Visual consistency for an indie game is an often neglected thing, so having Kasef focus on it here with the beginning area is a good change. As well as something maybe sort of akin to a map retcon in some ways. Where do these desert areas lead into, for instance? Couldn't tell ya, but they begin in the starting area, so there's some of that. In completely unrelated news, if you wanted ATLYSS to feel more like an online RPG, we now have the confirmation of realms being added into the game. This is a way to separate things like a PvP server, a PvE server, a mix server, and a fourth one called Ludia, which I'll just let you figure out what that one is. We're almost done with this round of updates, so I'm gonna opt to do a lightning round of all the minor stuff happening to Atlas. Hopefully you don't get overloaded with information. Okay, here we go. The fast travel system is going to get a visual update to give itself more identity, allowing it to look less like a placeholder asset. Bosses will have the ability to drop badges to allow you to collect certain boss drops without needing to grind for them. Slight update to fishing. Not only are you able to collect fish using the new fishing system, you can also get certain equipables as well. Things including but not limited to rings, armor, and weapons. Bows are the subject of several changes, including base attack speed increase, no longer being tied to FPS, they actually visually fire arrows now, neat I guess, as well as having a new charge attack. Polearms also get a new charge attack. Treasure chests look prettier, Birtles have a new arm cuff mesh, you can split your stack of an inventory item in order to give consumable items or materials to your friends, combat arenas and their doors now have separate triggers, and Birtles have a new direct cast animation, helping them to feel more visually distinct from the rest of the races. And nope, we're still not done yet. Conditions such as Poison are going to see a complete rework pretty much game-wide. There's mention of certain advanced classes having the ability to remove or protect against these debuffs. Just as well, certain armor pieces can protect against debuffs. It seems to me that statuses and elements going forward are going to be much more important to Atlas. This is evident both in the icons whenever you attack an enemy now, as well as weapons getting redone color trails based on what element they are. Additionally, weapon enchantments are now going to be color-coded based on which enchantment you put on a weapon. They are also being separated by weapon and armor, so you can't do things like put Lively on an axe to give yourself more health now. That is an enchantment exclusive to armor. It's also worth noting again that enchantments across the board for every player are going to be reset because something something, game dev jargon something something. There's going to be a new show-off option to display an item to your friends. There are many teasers showing off gamepad support coming to Atlas as well as confirmation for the game coming to Steam Deck. Elite enemies are going to have their modifiers visual to a player at a distance. We're going to be getting skill presets for all of our characters, and quest menus are getting a visual upgrade as well. Okay, I think that's everything that all of the teasers had to offer in terms of Atlas development news. This has been a lot of information and a weirdly high amount of work for me, and maybe some of these teasers have been sort of lost in the stream of information during this video. So just do me a favor for a sec. Think about all the information that you've seen out of this video. Think about it being added to Atlas, and then just consider how big and full of life this game is going to be here in the near future. If there's one thing I could say about Atlas, it's that this game left an impression on all of us. Practically out the gate as soon as the thing hit Steam, there was nary a bug to be seen, we caught glimpses of all these interesting premises, and even if you can't get a full grasp of all this information, just understand that the future is looking bright for Atlas. I will admit, it's been pretty unfortunate that all we have to go off of right now is just teaser images. It's been almost half a year since we got a proper update for the game. But even with that being said, I don't know. I still choose to be patiently excited for what the future of this game holds. There's really nothing else like it, and I'm no stranger to waiting for good things to come. Now before I end off the video here, I want to talk about the two announcements that I teased at the beginning of this video. Before I do that though, another teaser came out because no, I won't have the ability to finish this video this century. Bandit is getting a new skill called Caltrops. It's a constantly damaging AoE field that has a chance of inflicting poison onto an enemy. Which, hey, that's pretty cool. Can I please end this video now? The change I want to make regarding this video series has to do with moving this to a short-form video format. This is a very flowery way of saying that Atlas is going to be moved into ATLYSS Breaking News, which is going to be appearing on YouTube Shorts. I want to test the waters with this a little bit, see if this ends up working for people. I'm able to push out Atlas-related content on a much more frequent basis, if this does indeed pan out in the way that I hope it does. The first episode of ATLYSS Breaking News was released a pretty long while ago now, so if you missed it, we talked about fishing, as well as some other stuff that would work in a shorts format for, you know, Atlas stuff. If you want to see more Atlas news from me, then I would recommend both watching that short if you haven't already, and then also subscribing and hitting the bell icon. If you don't watch any of my other stuff, then simply set the bell to personalized, and hopefully that should work on paper. The real reason for this change is, like I said, to be able to push out more Atlas content more often. And because I haven't really used YouTube Shorts all that much, I figure may as well give this a shot. The other thing I wanted to talk about is in regards to the future of this channel. This is going to seem like a pretty silly thing to throw into a 20-minute update video for ATLYSS, but the truth is, I need help. When I first started making video essays for this channel, I was sort of floating in between jobs at that point. I wanted to see if I could maybe get a backing and make this to where this could be my day job. Just like everybody else, I'm a 26-year-old guy with bills to pay and mouths to feed. And in terms of where I stand right now in this current moment, my life sits at kind of a crossroads right now. Before I make anybody freak out or anything, no, I'm not going to stop making videos. I've been trying my best to get a proper work-life balance in for the better part of, I don't know, probably like 10 years at this point. This last year and a half I've been back to YouTube has been some of the most enriching that my life has ever been in terms of a creative sense. And when it comes to that, I just want to thank every single one of y'all. The problem right now is that YouTube doesn't make any money for me, and it's kind of just a huge time sink. Money and the necessity of money gets in the way of a bunch of things for all kinds of people. I know I'm not unique in wanting anything out of this. Between the rent and the utilities I have to pay, the internet, my car payment, my car insurance, the insulin I have to pay for because I'm a type 1 diabetic, there's a lot of money that has to flow in and out of my life in order to make my life livable. The truth is, I want to keep doing this, for as long as physically or mentally I am able to. It's just, again, the problem is, YouTube doesn't make any money for me right now. For a video to be considered successful in my eyes, it has to surpass my subscriber count. Not an immediately hard benchmark to make, not especially now. The last time I got a video with 1,000 views was during the accessibility in video games video. And just to keep a long story short, ad revenue on YouTube doesn't pay all that much if it's only 1,000 views. Last time I checked, it was at like 17 bucks, just to be 100% transparent in it. And that's with the small smatterings of other views my other videos get, which is not a lot. It never surpasses the double digits. Where I'm at now, I either have to pull in way more work hours into my day job, or have this YouTube career be truly successful for me. And I can do things like cater to an algorithm and all that stuff, but none of that is really good or even fun to do. It would kind of eliminate the whole purpose of, this being a fulfilling creative venture for me. I want to keep doing the stuff that I want to do, and sometimes that's not always ATLYSS stuff. I like talking about game design, I like showing off new games that I find. I like talking with people in my Discord or in my comment section because those are amazing experiences. Like, no, genuinely, some of the smartest conversations I've ever had are with people in my comment section, and I'm honored to have that. But as it stands now, I really can't keep that up. I could continue to beat around the bush if I really wanted to, but the truth is, like I said whenever I started this, I need help. I'm not necessarily asking for donations or for everybody to watch my stuff. Like I said, video production is not going to stop entirely. In the worst case scenario, it's going to slow down, possibly way, way down, if I need to pull way more work hours. Allow me to repeat myself just so that nothing gets misconstrued. I'm not asking for money, I'm just asking for help. If you want to, you can donate to the Patreon. That would be the quickest way to help me out, help us out, as, my wider friends and family also need help with this, with their lives. So in the realest outro I could ever give, and possibly the realest you'll ever see, if you enjoy what I make, then please, like, subscribe, share the video with people, say something in the comment section, just anything to help get these videos out. My viewer base is woefully and wildly inconsistent. That's fine, people take different interests in different things. I know what I'm asking for is inherently scummy, 150%. I cannot and will not dispute that. The reason I'm even putting it at the end of this ATLYSS video is because the last one that I made did so well. It is the top performing video on my entire channel. So if you, in any way, feel spurned by this last message, and feel the need to unsubscribe or dislike or do whatever it is that you feel like you need to do, then I can't stop you. In all actuality, it would be technically morally correct too. I'll say it again, I want to keep doing this for as long as I can. And even if you don't think I deserve your subscription or your like or whatever it is, then I'll just have to continue to improve these videos. And who knows? Maybe we see each other again one day and I'll win you over next time. As always, Patreon shoutouts go out to Stefan over on patreon.com. And Stefan, if you are indeed still watching this, you're a real one. The realest of real ones. If you would like to join the Patreon, tiers start at $1 a month. They can give you access to things like sneak peeks of videos before they come out, full releases to videos before they prop up on YouTube, and giving me the ability to shout your name out at the end of these videos. I don't really know how to end this now, because I kind of wrote myself into a hole, not gonna lie. If you enjoyed the video, then hey, why not subscribe or share it with other people or like or do YouTube stuff. I hope to see you again soon for something completely different. I hope you enjoyed watching, and have a good day, everybody.